It all started about 5 years ago with a little guy called the Wolverine. Now let's talk about it. Hello, heroes and villains. Welcome to Multiverse. So it is 5 years ago that we started building this little channel. Technically, I had the channel for about 10 years, maybe even longer than 10 years. But the first 5, 6 years, uh, you probably know that. At the time, you had to register you had to have a YouTube channel to be able to subscribe to channels, to be able to leave comments. So you had to be able to log in with your own channel in order to be able to do that way back when. So for the first 5, 6 years, the only reason why I had a YouTube channel was to be able to post and subscribe. But it's only about 5 years ago that I really started creating content for YouTube. So I will start by first being grateful, then I will talk a bit about the process that led me to create the channel, and then I will reveal the secret origin of a multiverse. I will reveal how I pretty much came up with the name the multiverse. So first, let me be grateful. Oh, we have an old friend Zoni who tells us thank you Zoni. So first, let me be grateful. I have to say thank you guys. Obviously, this channel would not exist without you guys. If you guys weren't subscribing, if you guys weren't participating, leaving comments, leaving likes, sharing the videos, none of that would be happening. So for that, I have to say thank you. Thank you guys for being here week after week. Your support means everything to me. Sadly, I will be the bearer of bad news a bit. Uh, about 3 years ago, when I reached 1,000 subscribers, and for the 2-year anniversary, I decided to do a giveaway. I had tried another giveaway before. It had a mixed result, but the giveaway I did 3 years ago, I gave a full set of Green Arrow gear and a full set of Alan Scott Green Lantern gear, and it was a mistake. Right from the start, when I announced the giveaway that I was making a giveaway, already some people were saying that it was a scam. Somehow I was trying to scam people, and it didn't start very well. And then afterwards, even when I actually there were two winners, I even made a video where I showed me giving the gear to the two winners, and then I was still accused that it was a scam. I gave the gear to some of to friends of mine, and also there was an explosion of people asking for free stuff. Already, there's always people asking for free stuff, asking for free auras, free materials, that kind of stuff. And sometimes when people ask for free stuff, they don't ask for like just give me an exhibit or something like that. They'll say like give me a void material, or even lately someone said oh, can you give me a madness material, as if of course that comes out of the sky. So sadly, when I made my last giveaway, I made a decision that I wasn't going to build my channel on giveaways. I see channel that do that. They build their channels on giveaways. They give stuff every day, every week, and that's how they build their channel, and they keep, I guess, people around, is by giving away free stuff. Uh, when I did the last giveaway, I swore that I would not do that. So I've been building the channel slowly but surely on not giving away stuff, so just on the content that I make. And again, I have to be grateful to all of you guys who support me, who've been supporting me for like 5 years now. So let's start with a question that people often have. How did I get started with the channel? Why did I start making a YouTube video? What was the spark, the inspiration that started it all? Basically, it was Jens Anderson. Some of you guys may recall Jens Anderson. He used to be the creative director way back when. And at some point, Jens had posted on the forums that there was a lot of people, when they were trying out this universe online, they would quit with the very first mission. Nowadays, the mission is quite different, but way back when, the Brainiac mission, the very first mission that you played in the Brainiac ship, there's a lot of players who would get stuck in that mission. At first, a lot of players somehow weren't able to activate their movement mode. There was a place in the mission where you had basically to fly up, or to run up a wall, or to scale the wall using acrobat. There's other players who somehow were not able to activate their flying ability, or their super speed ability, and they were not able to climb that wall. So that was the first obstacle for a lot of people. But also there was another obstacle which I've known people who were stuck there as well. There was those three little robots at some point that were supposed to teach you the counter mechanics. So you were supposed to use the counter mechanics on the first robot, defeat it, then use the second counter mechanic on another robot, and then the third counter mechanic on a third robot. And then once you did all that, you could continue. But if you did not use the counter mechanic, you could not do damage to those little robots. So if you weren't doing the counter mechanics, you were stuck there. And even though the instructions were on the screen, there were a big instruction that would appear on the screen telling people what to do, a lot of people just didn't know what to do. They didn't understand the counter mechanics that DC Universe Online had. And I can sort of understand. I haven't seen other games, so at least so far, who had a counter mechanic the way DC Universe Online has. And I have to admit, when they added the counter mechanic to the Brainiac ship, I'd been playing DC Universe Online for some time, and it's a mechanic that also came from PvP way back when. So I'd played PvP, I'd learned sadly how to use the counter mechanics playing PvP. And then at some point they added the counter mechanics to PvE, and as a tutorial they added those three little robots to the Brainiac ship. And again, the problem is that when people would reach that point, the robots were not taking damage, so a lot of people right off the bat assume that, oh, I've hit a bug, and that's pretty early to hit a game-stopping bug. So a lot of people would just quit on the game right there and then. So hearing Spittle say that, it's something that I kind of suspected. And also, DC Universe Online has always been notorious at not having enough information for new players. There's a lot of information that new players don't have or don't have access to somehow. So I thought, let's make a video to help out players, to help out new players, to show them how to get through that first mission. Because also, once you go through that, what was basically the tutorial for DC Universe Online, then DC Universe Online becomes a totally different game. It becomes a new game. Once you reach Gotham City or Metropolis, DC Universe Online becomes something else. So I foolishly thought, let's make one video showing people how to be able to complete the Brainiac ship mission, hoping that at least a few people would be able to use that to help them out, and maybe they wouldn't quit the game right there and then. So I did that. I created a brand new character to set out to do that, and somehow in my mind I thought, what character would be cool to recreate? And then I decided to recreate the Wolverine. I'm not just a DC fan, I'm also a Marvel fan. I'm basically a comics fan, or at least I guess I used to be. So I love the Marvel comics as much as I love DC comics. I love Dark Horse comics. I loved even some Image comics. So to me it seemed like a good idea, or a cool idea, to create the Wolverine within DC Universe Online. It would allow us to have some moments like the Wolverine teaming up with the Batman to fight the evil Joker. Somehow in my mind it sounded like a good idea, it sounded like something that would be really cool. And it turns out that it was the worst mistake I did starting my channel. There's some players who would write to me sometimes saying, "How dare you have a Marvel character in a DC game? How do you expect DC Universe Online to support you if you have a Marvel character in a DC game?" and that kind of stuff. So I completely underestimated the cleavage between the Marvel fan base and the DC fan base. Because also DC fans were insulted to have a Marvel character in a DC game, and Marvel fans were insulted to have a Marvel character in a DC game. So it was a lose-lose scenario. And I saw it also with the views, but not just with the views, with the watch time. Basically, if I made a video with, let's say, the Wolverine, yeah, I could get maybe 1,000 views. Like I think my top Wolverine video is like 1,400 views. But sadly, after 5 minutes, 90% of the audience stopped watching. As opposed to, at some point I made a Black Lantern Batman character. It just seemed like a good idea at the time. And Batman being popular, the Black Lanterns being popular, people would watch 90-95% of the video. So even a video with Black Lantern Batman that didn't have quite as many views as Wolverine was actually much better for the channel, because people would watch almost the whole thing. So that was pretty much my first mistake, making a Marvel character in the DC game. Sadly for a lot of people, that was a big no-no. Obviously, there's no way to know if I had created, let's say, a Batman character instead. Would that have had a big impact? Would I have had more support from DC Universe Online? I'm pretty sure the answer is no. But when it comes to the viewers, it might have made a bigger difference. Odds are I would have had people watching the videos longer. I did adjust as time went by. I started at some point making less and less videos with Marvel characters. So I tried to focus mostly on DC characters, but once in a while, I will include a Marvel character in a video. But I try to keep it as a once in a while occasion, for special occasions, let's say. And that's pretty much how it started. And then eventually I started creating other characters to be able to make videos. I created a Shazam character, a Flash character. I created a whole bunch of characters. And then at some point I started creating characters also for specifically for walkthrough. Technically, like I have a lot of walkthrough. I have a Wolverine walkthrough, a Doctor Strange walkthrough, a Shazam walkthrough, uh, a Black Lantern Batman walkthrough from like level 1 to combat rating 60, 100 or something like that. Uh, but I never labeled them as walkthrough. I never labeled them as such. So more recently, I started making actual walkthrough that are labeled as such. Like I made a Batman walkthrough, a Superman walkthrough. The latest I made was my Deathstroke walkthrough. I'm still toying with the idea of the next walkthrough. I'd like to make a villain walkthrough again, and probably a magic villain. I was thinking of using maybe Reverse Flash. But I wanted to have a magic character, so I might use Black Adam. I'm not sure just yet. I'm toying with using either Black Adam or maybe some other magic character. I'll have to give it some thoughts. So that pretty much is how the channel came to be. But at first, I did not call the channel Multiverse. I have to admit, I have absolutely no memory of what the original name for the channel was. It was like 5 years ago, and the channel was named like that for just a couple of weeks at best. But then at some point on the forums, I used to go on the forums quite a bit. I'm sure some of you guys probably go to the forums as well. If you're like me, none of my friends play DC Universe Online. I had a few friends that tried it at some point, and we had a league, and then we would play together once in a while. But sadly, none of my friends stuck around. So I don't really have friends who play DC Universe Online. So like probably some of you guys, I have no one to talk about DC Universe Online with. So I would go to the forums where I would find people with whom to discuss this universe online. Although these days I don't need to do that quite so much because I have you guys. I pretty much can talk about it with you either through the videos or through the comment section. With the comment section, the way we can interact, that's pretty much how I'm able to talk about this universe online with the rest of you guys. So I don't go to the forums quite as much, but there's a point in time where I would spend quite a bit of time on the forums. And at some point there was a discussion about there's something that people have always been asking. It's for DC Universe Online to add more Lantern powers. Like we have the Green Lantern powers, the Yellow Lantern powers, and the Red Lantern powers. But people for pretty much forever have been asking for Blue Lantern powers, Black Lantern powers, White Lantern powers, pretty much all the Lantern powers to be added to DC Universe Online. And so there was pretty much such discussion about that on the forums. And one of the suggestions to bypass some of the restrictions that some people often would have to the idea of having more Lantern powers was to use the multiverse, which I thought was a good idea. There's always something that's been a bit strange about this universe online is that early on they did not want to have people being able to create the Batman or Superman, or which is also a bit why I created the Wolverine as my first character, because ironically enough at the time it was let's say challenging to create Batman or Superman or the Flash, but you could easily create the Wolverine, you could create the Deadpool, you could create the Hulk, Thor, Spawn. Ironically enough, you could create a whole bunch of non-DC characters, but if you wanted to create a DC character, you did not really have the styles to be able to do so. And the argument was always that no, there needs to be only one Batman in this universe online, and to people like me, it was like, why? There's the multiverse. Like, if you want to explain why there's multiple Batman, it's easy enough. You have Batman from Earth 1, Batman from Earth 2, Batman from Earth 2053. So you have the multiverse to explain. Let's assume that for some reason a lot of people create Batman characters. The multiverse is the reason to explain all of that. And the irony is that as you start the game, one of the first thing that DC Universe Online introduces you to is the multiverse.
Earth. The center of the multiverse. It will belong to Brainiac.
But somehow, way back when, they did not seem to want to use the multiverse to be able to explain, let's say, multiple multiple versions of the same character. So pretty much I went through that. I went through a long post, pretty much discussing that, and we were discussing about the multiverse and why we weren't using the multiverse and how to explain multiple characters. And then it hit me. I thought, why not call my channel the Multiverse? Because also originally my idea was to be able to use characters from all over the place, to use Marvel characters, DC characters, Image characters, because I had a Spawn character at some point. So I thought, why not call the channel the Multiverse? That way I could use any character I wanted. So that's pretty much how the Multiverse name came to be. From a discussion about using the multiverse to explain why there would be multiple copies of the same characters within this universe online. Like one of the arguments people had at some point was that there was only one Green Lantern assigned to Earth, which wasn't true. At some point there was Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner, John Stewart, and others that I'm sure I'm forgetting. So there was precedent showing how there could be multiple Green Lanterns assigned to a single sector. But usually there was an argument that was used that there could be only one lantern, one Green Lantern on Earth, or one Blue Lantern, or one whatever. But then again, the multiverse would have been the perfect explanation to be able to justify why there would be 53 different lanterns or 5,000 different lanterns. And on that fateful day, unlike any others, the multiverse came to be. So that's pretty much where the name for the channel came from. If some of you guys remember what the channel originally was called, let me know. I'm curious to see if anyone remembers that. And I have to admit, I have absolutely no memory of what the original name for the channel was. So I'd be curious to hear what it was. So just a little video to celebrate the 5 years of the multiverse. 5 years of creating videos, and it's been a bumpy ride, but it's been a fun ride. And again, I have to say thank you guys for sticking around for 5 years. And also thank you for all of you who joined the channel just recently. The channel has been growing quite a bit. Again, basically it took me 2 years to be able to reach 1,000 subscribers. But early 2019, we had reached 3,000 subscribers. And now we have about 13.4 thousand subscribers. And it's all thanks to you guys. We're almost at 3.8 million views. So I have to say thank you guys. It's been a blast, and it would not be possible without you. So once more, guys, I have to say thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask so in the comment section down below, and I'll see what I can do about answering your questions. I have roughly 2,000 videos about this universe online at this point. So if I don't answer your question right away, just search in my videos. Odds are I already made a video that answered your question. And that's going to be pretty much it for now, guys. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.